guilty to cause number 22-40025, an indictment charging you with the second-degree felony of aggravated assault. Pre-sentence report has been prepared. Have the parties had an opportunity to review it? Are there any corrections or changes to it? First of all, defense
Nothing from the defense. Your Honor.
and state.
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Then it is made a part of the record for all purposes. So this is accurate. He has no criminal history.
That is correct.
Okay. The agreement is a cap of 6 years in prison. So you were looking at no less than 2 nor more than 6 years confinement in prison. If we follow imprisonment, you can be placed on deferred or unadjudicated probation for up to 2 to 10 years. I believe regular probation is not an option for this court. I think those are our options, those two. Go ahead, Mr. Wilkerson. You may go first.
And may I please, with all respect, Your Honor, I believe that the decision of the court today in this case is not simple because of the fact that my client has no criminal history. Despite the very serious nature of the offense, if my client is fortunate and the victim is fortunate and that the victim was able to make a recovery. My client is 25 years old. He was a high school dropout. And as the pre-sentence investigation reads, appears to have some literacy issues. Your Honor, this court has an opportunity here to take this young man, this 25-year-old young man, and set him on the right path, requiring to get his GED, requiring to take literacy courses, requiring him to be monitored. He would have, obviously, during deferred adjudication, no access to firearms. I believe this court can fashion a probation order that would benefit justice, society, and my client all at the same time. He has worked for the city of Beaumont in the past. He was worked for the drainage district, Your Honor. That's the last employment that he had prior to, I believe, prior to being arrested, if I'm correct.
How long has he been in jail, please? Thank you.
He's been in jail for 379 days.
Okay, a year.
Yes, or approximately 379. That was the count that I was able to get. And so he has essentially been stagnant for that year, waiting on his day to stand before you and take responsibility for his actions. He's done so. He's remorseful, and Your Honor, he's throwing himself at your mercy and asking for another opportunity to be a productive member of society.
All right, state.
Judge, he shot somebody. He was aiming at one person, hit somebody who wasn't even involved in the altercation, and could have killed him. I took in the fact that he has no criminal history into the cap by limiting his exposure, but you just don't shoot somebody and then walk out and walk away from the courtroom with the probation saying, we'll help you get your life in order. He could have killed somebody and could have killed other people just by his being a bad shot, shooting at somebody and hitting somebody else. So we would ask the court to give him to 6 years in prison.
What would you like to say, if anything, sir?
I like to go on probation.
Why do you?
I know.
Why do you deserve that?
I know I've been my life around. I was in the wrong place for a long time. Somebody brought me there, so
Let me ask you. The victim in this case was shot. Where was the bullet wound?
Bullet came in the back and came out the front hip.
Wait. You shot somebody in the back? In the back?
it was darkness, man.
Yeah, you just shoot in the dark? Come on. Because this guy got shot in the back, which meant he really was either fleeing or wasn't even looking at you.
He was actually shooting at someone else. That guy jumped out of the way and this hit the other person in the back. Wasn't even involved in the altercation.
Okay, well. You don't get credit for being a bad shot. doesn't get you any points. That's terrible. What was all this about?
I don't know, somebody wrong there.
Wait. You don't know what this was all about. You just go around shooting at people in the back for no reason.
Playing with the application.
This doesn't, you need to,
It was, two people started fighting, you know.
you,
No, not at first. At first, two people started fighting, so I was trying to break them up. The dude swung at me. And happily, he was a twin. So me and him ended up tussling, he pushed me on the ground. So that's when I ended up making my way up. I ended up getting up. So I ended up running back. It was like, I seen there's two more people running down the stairs. And everything occurred.
Why'd you tell him why he fired you?
So I thought, like, cause they were running at me, so I took it out my holster. This is I tried to do one shot, but I shot it one time for one shot. And I didn't know I hit him in the back. I felt myself about to get jumped on by 3 people. So I was trying to do one shot so I can get out the way. And all I know is I ended up getting arrested a couple months later.
Just to mention, Judge, if you were to violate a condition of probation, you could proceed with the full range of punishment at that time. Such that if he does not take the opportunity to serve himself and society, then he can be put away for longer than 6 years.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm certain here, why were you even there?
At first, when they picked me up, I thought
Who's they?
the girl, Aronika. I was supposed to go with me to go like party or something, but this didn't get in front. So and then we ended up at the apartments. I can't even tell you what the apartment was there because I wasn't really paying attention. I was on my phone.
Okay, so I'm looking for this, what I had read earlier, and according to the witnesses. Batiste was on the ground fighting with apparently you, according to the witnesses. Then one of the witnesses ran over, broke up the fight between you and the other man. Then you started to walk away toward the parking lot. Then he says you turned and then fired a shot. So the fight had ended and everybody was dispersing,
So
and then you shoot the gun. Now, after you shot him in the back, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? I want to see.
Walk off.
You left. Yeah, for everybody else to clean up the mess that you had made by shooting somebody. Well, I guess you're lucky that we're not here on a murder case, huh? Go ahead. You were gonna say something.
I was only going to say, I believe my client would dispute slightly that version of events. Obviously, people have a tendency to protect their own, but he does admit to taking the shot and doing so wrongfully. And I understand that doesn't change the fact that this terrible thing happened. Nothing will change that.
No, but we can put the pieces together and I mean, he had the power. He had a weapon and he shot somebody in the back. And then he left.
Yes.
But he says he's not guilty or it's not really. He's not blameworthy. He should have, I mean, when you shoot somebody,
No,
you have a duty to help them. You left. You left. They had to, I mean, you didn't ever come back. You didn't call the police. You left. And the police went to find you.
no, I'll talk to the detective.
Yeah, I know you talked, you didn't call the detective, they called you. You want me to read that? I obtained a Texas DL photo of David Lee Moore. I contacted Moore and spoke with him about coming to the station to tell his side of the incident. They called you. Don't tell me you did. And it's just, you should have hung around. If you had nothing to worry about. Guilty men flee when no man pursueth. But the righteous stand bold as a lion. You ever heard of that? It's in the Bible. Oh, but I guess could have been a lot worse. But once again, it just what we have too often in this case where people shoot at each other for really reasons that don't rise to the need for self-defense. It's just ego is bruised. All right, earlier here in this hearing, you had pleaded guilty voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understand the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1, admitted in your plea hearing, to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this second-degree felony of aggravated assault. I am following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 5 years. The judgment shall reflect that a deadly weapon, namely a firearm, was used in the commission of this offense. Once again, misuse of a firearm in the shooting, it just happens too often, but like many other cases, this is nonsensical. And here you don't ever shoot somebody, but when you shoot them in the back,
Then nobody actually got shot.
that's your problem. You're just shooting into a crowd.
No, it wasn't just,
You just shoot into the crowd and somebody got shot. Thank God there wasn't a little kid there in the group. Thank God. Well, you wouldn't have cared. You just shot into a group of people.
I would.
No. You either shot at somebody or you just shoot.
Somebody told me.
And then the bullet found its way into somebody's back. That's just, you can't explain that away, sir. That was misuse. That was terrible, irresponsible use of a firearm, and it was a bad choice that you made. And you paid.
And so let's go on the record in the matter of Curtis Carson, 23508.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Hey.
Hearing behalf of my client, this time consent to the matter being heard via Zoom.
Thank you. Mr. Carson, your name, please.
Curtis Carson.
All right. Today is the date scheduled for a jail review and probation violation. And Mr. Carson is currently on probation for operating while visibly impaired. And Mr. Carson was sentenced July 24th to 45 days jail and probation. And there was a jail review set for October 2nd. And then it's alleged he failed to appear for, he tested positive for alcohol and marijuana on July 25th. And also he failed to appear for testing on August 8th. And so that is where the probation violation is coming in. And because it's up for probation violation hearing today, the jail review was moved forward as he has two pending violations. And so counsel, what's happening today?
Your Honor, I had an opportunity to review my client's rights to a hearing in which he understands that he can come in front of the court and allege that these violations are not accurate. That being said, that won't be necessary. He's prepared to admit responsibility to the violations. I'd ask for an opportunity to allocate on his behalf.
Carson, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony you're about to give this man be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. And you heard the allegations for probation from your attorney, correct?
Yes.
And as to the allegations that you tested positive for alcohol and marijuana on July 25th and failed to appear for drug testing August 8th, how do you plead?
I don't understand how I dropped dirty for any alcohol.
Mr. Carson,
Mr.
Carson, I explained to you that you can go back several days, and that while
Yeah, I'm still unsure of how that became though.
well, Mr. Carson,
I told you what I understand. I told you what I admitted to, but the drinking I don't understand. I don't know if it's some Listerine or something, because I don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing that I can think of.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this matter for an in-person hearing. I'll enter plea of not guilty. We'll set this for an in-person hearing on August 29th.
Okay, and I was in the accident. Did he tell you about the accident?
No, we didn't get that far yet.
Okay.
I'm sorry, counsel, there was an accident.
Yes.
Judge, yeah, this was going to go towards the explanation of some of the allocution, but there's nothing to give in reference to it right now, as you're scheduling it for an in-person hearing.
Okay. All right. Sir, if you're tested today, what's in your system?
Honestly, I told my attorney, this is what I mean, not my attorney, what's his name that we're on the Zoom with. I told him that.
What's his name? Excuse me, sir. What's his name is Christopher Shumke, and he is your attorney.
Okay, Mr. Christopher, the attorney. I just explained to him that first of all, I didn't even know that I could do jail or that I was going to jail or probation until the day that I got sentenced. I didn't even know that that jail or probation was possible. Number two,
hold on, sir. Number one, stop, please. Number one is that you had a retained attorney. Both the
he never told me until the day of sentence.
Excuse me, please, excuse me. The substance abuse report and screening was emailed to you and your attorney back in June. Then the court initially held this matter June 21st. We adjourned it to July 17th. You failed to appear that day and we set it for July 24th. As you had contacted, or your attorney had contacted the court.
Yeah, yes.
So, sir, prior to going on the record, you had a conversation with your attorney, Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Yes, so that was based upon the report and recommendation that was mailed out early June.
Yes, which he never said anything to me about jail or probation.
Sir, I will indicate as well that the June 21st date didn't occur. We adjourned it to July 17th, specifically for you to get your affairs in order in the case that this court would sentence you to jail. So don't tell me you were unaware of that, because that was specifically the reason why this court adjourned it to July. And then you failed to appear.
I was running late, and as soon as I got here, I went to that little window because they said that they sent out a bench warrant, and then they cleared it up right then and there. And then when I got back to court on July, that date, he told me while we were sitting out there in that table right outside the court that, okay, they're recommending jail. I said, what? This whole time,
Hold on,
I didn't ever.
Sir, that also occurred in June, because that was a specific reason that I granted your attorney's request to adjourn it to July 17th. So please don't try to tell me that you did not know that until now. So my question still remains. My question remains. If you were to test today, what's in your system?
I didn't know that I couldn't smoke weed. I was on parole. I did 12 months of parole. I did 12 months of parole, and I never got dropped for weed. They took it off the panel.
Sir, am I the judge that was presiding over your case that you were on parole for?
Excuse me?
Am I the judge that presided over your case that you're currently on, that you were on parole for, when you're claiming you didn't have any problem smoking weed? Am I that judge?
No, but I just thought that was the law because they changed the law. They took it off the panel.
Sir, alcohol is also legal. And that's also something that you're not allowed to consume when you're on probation. And I was very clear, very clear at your arraignment on April 4th. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs that are not prescribed. Then I said it again on May 2nd, when you were here for your pretrial. Bonding conditions are continued. Again, May 16th, bonding conditions are continued. And I'm certain that I asked you each of those dates what would be detected in your system. And you're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs that are not prescribed. I also, on July 24th, when I sentenced you, for sure indicated that, because that was a condition of your probation, which you received a copy of your written instructions, your written probation conditions. Did you not?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't tell me that you did not know you were not allowed to smoke weed. Don't tell me that.
I mean, misdemeanor. All right.
So when did you use it? Yesterday or today?
I mean, I've been going through a lot. I lost my job. I got 35 stitches in my arm. You know, I'm going through physical therapy.
Sir, yesterday or today? Which day did you use it? Yesterday?
I'm currently using. I'm trying to tell you, I'm currently smoking.
So right now, while you're in court.
No, not like right now. I mean, like I've been smoking because I've been stressed out.
Sir, stressed out, I don't believe is a legitimate medical reason.
How you don't believe? I just lost my job. I'm looking at jail. I just look at my arm. I got 35 stitches in my arm. I had to recover from that. I'm 100 pounds heavier than I was when I got on the truck. So just moving around doing regular work, I gotta go through physical therapy. I'm going through a lot right now. This all just hit the fan.
Sir, you may be going through a lot, but this court's order is its order. And you
I hear
chose to
you.
ignore that.
I did not choose to ignore it. I'm just mentally going through a situation. I was depressed, and I don't know. That's the only way I knew how to handle it.
Sir, being depressed, having a lot going on, going through a lot, that is not a reason to violate this court order and just go ahead and smoke marijuana because you want to do that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
When's the last time you were tested, sir?
That very first time I went to go to report. I haven't been since then because I've been recovering from the accident.
When was your accident?
My accident was actually right before sentencing. I was in the court with a sweatshirt on, if you don't realize, because I was covering up my wounds because I didn't want to look all dramatic in there.
Okay, and sir, what's the nature of your injuries from the accident?
Look, 35 stitches. I got a puncture in my elbow that took forever to recover, that I had to be really careful with because it was almost getting infected. I landed on my left elbow, so my whole collarbone and shoulder area and my rotator cuff is still bruised. Like, I can't do a push-up if I wanted to.
Sir, how does that affect you showing up for testing?
For test, because I was just, first I had to sit for a long time. For the first 2 weeks, I had to sit down, laying down with my arm above my heart. It was just a dramatic experience. I was on pain medication, and just everything, losing my job, getting injured, facing jail. I just was in the bed. I didn't move. I just didn't move for the first few weeks after that.
Okay, and so that's been a couple of months. So tell me why it is that you need to be excused from testing.
It's been about a month. It's been about a month. It's been probably a solid month.
From your
the
July
accident.
sentencing, not your first date of sentencing. Okay.
No. Yeah.
So. Okay,
Excuse me?
that was a lot. That's okay. I can understand. You had a traumatic experience in a car accident, or no, I'm sorry, in your accident.
Yes, in the semi.
Okay. So I'm not hearing why you cannot appear for testing.
I just didn't go because of the condition I was in. I just didn't go mentally and physically. I just didn't go. I mean, I'm telling you the honest truth. It took a while for everything to really just soak in.
And so you're not working.
No, he had a job for me in the warehouse, but now that the trucking thing is going slow, he don't even really need loaders anymore. So I got to find something else to do. But I did pay $400 on the toward the probation.
Okay, and you also paid money for marijuana at some point, right?
No.
It's amazing how many people get their marijuana or any other drugs for free when. Anyway, sir, I'm going to indicate the following. $5,000 personal bond on this matter. You are to participate in testing today.
Okay.
Zero excuses as to not going to test.
So go test and then what?
And then you're in person in this courtroom on Tuesday, 1 week from tomorrow, at 11 a.m.
Okay.